Hello and welcome to another talk on teaching on CELTA Essentials. Today I'm going to very quickly deal with a topic which is crucially important and often can be the difference between the success and lack thereof of a language lesson. So without giving too much of the game away just yet, let's get straight into it. Where is the definition here? Where's the point of reference? I can't see anything here. What am I looking for? Dealing with language isn't always just about dealing with the text and dealing with the language therein. It's about so much more, and about how can we help learners interact with that text and that language and make it properly memorable for them. In order to do that, we're going to have to establish a context. And what exactly I mean by context hopefully will become clearer as I move through this talk. So here we see a kind of higgledy-piggledy image with some things that maybe we could pick out for what's in there, but what does it all mean? What's it all about? It's hard for us to fully establish. You could see maybe that there's some sort of foliage here and maybe a cloud there. But what is it? Well, I can say everything is here in order to understand the countryside. But you still need to do a little bit of mental gymnastics in order to do that. So moving on, let's start with the house. Okay, it's fine, I can figure out that that's a house. Although this is just a silhouette image, and my mind is putting two and two together to understand this allegorical representation of what a house is. It's enough for my mind to establish that. But where is it? Is it a country house, a city house? Is it, what's the weather like, etc.? Well, all of that we need more context in order to fully understand. So now if we bring in our trees, now we understand that it's in the countryside. And then we can see our birds and clouds and sun. And suddenly we have a clearer picture of the setting, the context, and what everything means. This is a pretty familiar image that we can relate into our own context. What this means for me as an Irish person might be slightly different from what it means to a Canadian or a Brazilian or a Japanese person, but still there's something relatable. There's a context here that I can relate to help me understand what the image is trying to help me understand. So let's consider then two lessons with these concepts in mind. One lesson might consist of the following. It might consist of, here are some words, so house, car, tree, sun, okay, hills. Pretty much what was in the image, the last image which I showed you before. But imagine this is how I start my lesson. Here are some words. Then I'll say, here are their definitions, and maybe match them up. Okay, and write some sentences with these words. This lesson could be improved by doing the following. Okay, let's start off with this. Okay, everybody, let's talk about our homes. In order to get the conversation started on my show. So here's a picture of my home, and I'll explain it and give a little overview or narration about my own home, kind of to get the students' minds warmed up. Quickly hand it over to the learners to make it communicative, give them a reason to talk, and let them personalize, let them relate it to their own lives. So tell your partner about your home. Okay. Then, in order to deal with my target language or present my target language, I'll say, look at this picture, what can you see in the picture? And I might show a picture like in the previous slide. Then we will establish, present and clarify the language from the picture, and I could say use the vocab from the picture to complete these sentences in order to do a controlled practice exercise. And finally, to personalize fully, I can then say, okay, now use the vocabulary that we just worked with to tell your partner about your dream home. You can see a very clear difference between these two lessons. The first lesson really makes me think of the mismatch of images and no real relevance other than simply dealing with language at the discourse level as if it were an exercise in linguistics. Whereas the second makes me think of a much more functional outcome where learners can relate the presented language to their own lives and therefore use it in a more successful way. So what's going on here? Context helps this. My goodness, it looks like I've missed something here in my slide, but maybe if I bring in a little bit more background and definition, I can get some context to understand. So context makes language memorable. It helps the students to relate to the language, and it aids second language acquisition. It aids second language acquisition by helping the learners to give something relatable so that their mind can fill in the blanks, just like the silhouette images that we saw at the beginning. Okay, so that's all for this talk. I hope that you found it useful and that it helps you include more context in your lessons. Thank you.